is the Rangers Journal Night.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you're watching this. My name is Doug. You're watching the Rangers Journal, and this is the Lowdown. It's the first Lowdown of the new season, and it is a big one as we're going straight into the heavy-hitting matches facing Panathinaikos in the first leg of the second round of Champions League qualifiers. It's arguably one of the biggest games that we'll have this season, as it counts for so much. This and the return tie, if we can get past this, we will guarantee ourselves some form of European League phase football, be that in the Champions League or the Europa League this season. So it's a massive game and one that we really need to start firing on all cylinders. There's a lot to take in. Obviously, we've had many changes since the last Lowdown. We've got a new ownership group. We've got a new manager. We've got a selection of new players. We've got a selection of players that have left the club. And there's more to come on that front, with expected at least a few more signings and a handful of players that most fans are looking to see leave before the start or before the end of the window, as the league will begin before that happens. The team that we play tonight, the team that we play tomorrow night will not necessarily be our first choice, nor will it be the team that we will have come the closing of the window, but it will indicate the kind of direction that we're going, how the players are taking on Russell Martin's tactics and thoughts, and how we potentially can expect to see things pan out for the season. So again, important for a lot of the fans that are not 100% on Russell Martin, that he gets us off on a good footing to this game. Going straight into the match, looking at our current form, as we always do. Current form from both teams, obviously, we are at the beginning of the season, so we're looking at friendlies here, which do not necessarily mean all that much in terms of how a team will come out playing in competitive matches. But both teams have had a bit of a mixed bag. Panathinaikos have played a little bit more friendlies than ourselves, but like us, have had a mixed grouping of wins, draws, and losses in there. The big differences between the squads, Panathinaikos, although they have been having some financial troubles and needing to sell players, they've kept core of a hold of their core players and really looked to keep a hold of the sort of the core of their team, so that they can bank on the success of having a team that's continuation and with their manager and building on a base that they've already got. They have sold a couple of their more creative players. However, as I say, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're hugely worse off in comparison to ourselves, who are obviously trying to build something pretty much completely new, with at least half the team starting with sort of new players, or some players who are going to be like new this season, having maybe not featured so much last season. My most recent game, a 4-1 went to Dunfermline, saw Danilo, one of the key players we'll talk about tonight, as one of the guys who performed well, and we will need to perform well in these ties. He got a goal and 3 assists in that match, so that's the kind of form that we hope we'll see carry into the game, and we'll touch on him a little bit later. But moving on, we'll look at Panathinaikos first, as we always do, looking at what we can expect from them. Panathinaikos are likely to play a sort of 4-3-3 system. As I say, they have a solid base of their team still there, so they are settled in their sort of the way they play and their style and their system. They don't score loads of goals, but they do score goals from all across the pitch. So there's danger to be found in all areas. And that's something that Rangers will need to be aware of, not over-focusing on some of their more key players, as they could leave themselves open to goals or assists from other areas. The decision-making in the final third can be a little shifty sometimes. If they have a bad night, that'll work very well for us. Some of the players, as I say, that they've got left, they've lost 2 of their sort of more players that are a little bit more clinical, so they will have players that, as I say, could turn the form on, or could have an off night, so we'll need to keep an eye on those. They like a fast-paced build-up play, kind of probably similar to what ourselves will do, as well as closing down, and they do have a mixture of attacking forms, depending on what they're doing, given the different ways that their two of their main sort of goal getters like to receive the ball, which can be a combination of through balls, wide interplay leading to crosses, or through tight space combinations, making threes, making passing routes, and trying to get around defences. So there will be a little bit of variation in there that the team will need to look out for. Looking at the squad and who they have remaining, the danger men that I've picked out for tonight are firstly their winger Tete. Tete predominantly on the left, but can play on the right as well. He scored 5 goals, 3 assists in the previous season that's finished. That was from 31 matches. And he has been, as I say, good in European competitions as well. As you see, it's not a huge amount of output, particularly given the number of games played, but that sort of fills in with, like I say, they're not necessarily a high volume team, but their goals come across from different players, so no one player has a particularly high figure. You can see from his abilities map there that the attacking half is very high, creates a lot of chances. He gets a lot of touches on the ball as one of their main players. You would expect that. And he does attempt a lot of shots and scores goals, but his defensive actions can be poor. So we may be able to catch them out on that side if he's not on his defensive duties. Secondly, I picked out one of their strikers, Fotis Hernandez. He's again 6 goals and 1 assist there. So again, a decent fistful of goals, but not super high given the number of games. He's got a decent average of attacking skills, hovering all around the kind of 70% there in terms of his percentiles versus other players. But again, very low in some of those defensive actions. So we, I think, can get behind them and potentially cause some trouble with our press, the Russell Martin style press. If some of their more forward players aren't quite up to their attacking duties, then quite up to their defensive duties, then we might be able to get something going in terms of catching players out. I think the press will be key to that. If they're pushed up high and we can net the ball high in the press on the opposite side, then we can get attacks flowing and moving towards their goal quicker than their attacking players can potentially get back, depending on how they come and how they decide to tackle the match at Ibrox. I would expect us to be the attacking team at Ibrox. I think we need to be and we should be so that we can take the advantage away in the away match. But we'll have to see, obviously, how things pan out in the game itself. So, of course, moving on to Rangers, the team that we expect to line up, or the team that I would like to see line up. There's a little bit of combination of the two. We've got the majority of the players in the squad there. I've only kind of got space for the 30, so I've left out 1 or 2 that aren't in the European squad anyway and are likely to be leaving. But we've got all the main faces there. In terms of starting lineup, it seems that Butland will be retaining his number 1 spot for now. We'll see how he gets on. There's only been a few rumours of goalkeeper links thus far, but they have been in recent times, so it does look like it could be something that we are looking at. But there's not been any strong links at the moment, so it's Butland that we go into. And I think we will need to watch out for his handling of the ball at his feet as things go, but hopefully nothing too bad happens there. In terms of the back 4, lots of change going on there. 2 familiar faces with 2 new. He has appeared to be playing Max Aarons in the recent bounce games at the left back. So maybe not 100% certain on the left back options we have at the moment, which sees obviously Tavernier on the right back duties. Central defence, we do see likely to see John Suter retaining his position alongside new signing Giga, who has come in and, as I say, likely to be a starting player given coming from the Premiership. So that could be likely to be our new sort of look back 4. Midfield, again, we've got some familiar faces in Raskin and Diomande, which both likely to start. Both have been important players in various games in recent times. But we'll likely to see Rothwell in his spot in that sort of anchor role, playing between the defence and midfield. That's something we think he's going to be doing for Russell Martin in the system. So we'd like to see him coming in there. Kieran Dowell, obviously not a player that has done much at Rangers in his 2 years. Did have a good spell away to Birmingham when he was playing in the league last season. Did score goals, got assists. So can he come back and do a job for Rangers with Russell Martin and under his system? Perhaps. We'll need to see. He may only be in there at the moment just because of the lack of availability and fitness of players like Gassama who have come in. Asgard is obviously injured. Maybe Cortez not exactly what he's looking for at this point, not sure. But it seems like Dell might be the one to come in on that right hand side. On the left hand side of the attack, did look like it was going to be Asgard. He has picked up an injury, so we're not 100% sure whether he's going to be playing as of yet. I personally would like to see Lyle Cameron come in an attacking role. I think he's got a lot to offer. He did really well at Dundee last season. I think he can do a lot, either playing in one of those sort of flatter midfield positions or in a more attacking position like this. I'm not sure if it will be him that will go ahead. Obviously, they potentially will play Asgard if he manages to be fit. Bajrami is probably another likely player to get the nod in that position, having done well in the game against Bruges, or he may even play Finlay Curtis. I'm not 100% certain. But as I said, quite like to see Cameron given the opportunity, but we'll have to see. And then up front is likely to be the only real striker we've had playing in our preseason games, which has been Danilo. And he has been playing well. He's got a couple of goals. I've seen that in the Newfoundland game. We did say he got the 3 assists as well. I think he does have a lot to offer in his all-round game that perhaps players like Dessers can't offer. Can he score as many goals as Dessers? We'll have to see. His strike rate is reasonably good in terms of how many goals he got compared to his minutes last season. It was actually slightly higher than Dessers, although whether he can obviously extend that over a period of time, we're not sure. But this is a real key point for Danilo, I think. Obviously, with Eggman and Dessers not 100% fit and so likely to start on the bench, he's got an opportunity to stake a claim for a shirt, particularly also with those two potentially leaving the club as well, with links for both Dessers and Eggman having been put out there. Danilo has the opportunity to stake his claim before any new strikers come in as well. So it's a really big opportunity for him. And we need him to be grasping that opportunity, really. With that in mind, I've selected Danilo as my game changer for this match. As I say, I think he really needs to grasp this opportunity and try and get some goals. If we're going to get past Panathinaikos, and indeed if we're going to gain success in any of the competitions that we're entered into, we're going to have to score goals. It's been a problem that we've had over the previous years. Dessers solved it to a degree from the striking position by coming in and scoring plenty of goals, but we still weren't getting enough goals from other positions in the team, which held more pressure on Dessers to be the one scoring. So when he missed, it was a bigger issue. So we need someone like, hopefully, Danilo to come in and not only score those goals, but be setting up other players and helping other players get into the game and score goals as well. So that will be partially down to the other players to do it also. And that's why I'm excited that some of the new attacking options like Asgard, like Asama, with some of the other wingers we've still been linked with, that these are players that will be able to interchange, find chances, take chances, and start getting us goals from across the pitch. But in this game, as I say, it looks like Danilo may be the guy that we're going to be hanging our hat on, and so we need a big performance for him. As you can see from his attributes, he does have good level attributes. He attempts more shots than 100% of similar players in his position. So he takes attempts at the ball and at the goal, and tries to score goals. We just need to see can he do that regularly and obviously start to score them. 76% percentile for the goals themselves. So he could push that a little bit higher. And again, can he do that over a long period of time? Will he get better if he's actually in the team for a period of time and manages to get into a bit of a run and get into a groove? It can be really important to get into that groove with a run of games. And that's something that Danilo's never really had, apart from maybe a small spot at the beginning when he first arrived. We did get a bit of a run and he did score some goals then. So hopefully he can do that again. And I think he, as I say, could be the game changer for us if he can get the goals to launch us to the next round. And as I say, guaranteed league phase football in Europe this season. So the final thing then left is to do my prediction for the match. So I'm going to go bold and predict 2-0 to Rangers. Hopefully the Ibrox crowd will be there to to roar the team on and really have that golden effect that we've seen so many times in Europe over the past sort of 5 or 6 years where we've done so well. Panathinaikos, they are that kind of early Champions League, Europa League level team that we've been meeting and beating at various stages. They're a team that we can 100% beat, but they are a team that could beat us if we're not at our best, not up to the races. So it's important, as I say, that we start off well. And I think being at Ibrox gives us the opportunity to do that. Go in, have the fans behind us, gain some confidence, and as I say, hopefully get a nice 2-0 victory that we can take away and guard in the second leg and see us through. I'll say a goal for Danilo. We'll get him a goal for thing. And it's a European game, so I'll always predict a penalty for Tavernier as well. So that's my prediction for the match, and hopefully that's how things can pan out. But that has been the lowdown for this episode 1 of the new season. To say, hopefully you guys like the new look, and we'll be pushing on with new lowdowns, new and improved lowdowns this season. I'm going to get some of the guys to come in and join me and chat through some of the periods and some of the sections to talk about the opposition and give you a little bit more from these moving forward. So do look forward to those. And as I say, we will obviously be back for our next competitive game with the next lowdown. So do stay tuned to that. Just a shout out to our sponsors, off to the matchigo.co.uk, who do bespoke football and Rangers related gifts and paraphernalia. You can get 10% off if you put Journal 10 in at the checkout. So do give them a visit, and do give ourselves a visit at the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get notified whenever we go live. We're doing shows 5 nights a week again with the season that's starting, and we'll have previews and post matches for both Panathinaikos and the Middlesbrough game coming up as well. I'm currently scheduled to be in for the Middlesbrough game, so you'll see me at those too. So thanks again for watching the new lowdown, and here's to another exciting new season and hopefully a title-winning season for Rangers. On the Bears, thanks for watching, and every night is a Rangers Journal night.